I was saying it was my last chance to interview someone, and I got the best artist. You have to watch to see her work. Welcome, Sue.
Thank
Are you
you.
okay? You're comfortable?
Yes, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for accepting. So, how did your passion for books started? Where does inspiration come from?
So my passion for books started at a very young age, and I loved reading. My favourite stories were Alice in Wonderland and The Secret Garden, or the children's classics. And for me, it was an escape, like an escape from home life. And as soon as I could read for myself, I started reading fairy tales, the Brothers Grimm and Hans Christian Andersen. So that's where it started very, very young.
Okay, so when did you discover that you don't suffer cutting the books? No, but how do you connect the story of the book with its final art?
Well, the first book that I cut into to make a sculpture was really difficult for me because you grow up. The books are, relics, and to cut one up is kind of sacrilegious. And so I felt before I started cutting into it that I needed to make it into something better, to improve it in some way. And so I felt a lot of pressure on me. My first book sculpture was The Quiet American, which was a book that I bought while I was traveling in Thailand. And I cut butterflies through each and every single page, and then the butterflies were flying out of the book.
Yeah, you had a beautiful page on your website to look at.
Yeah.
So you read first, even if you love the book, you'll turn it into art.
Especially if I love the book.
Okay.
Yes.
So while reading a book, do you underline?
So I will always read the book first before I start cutting into it. And I'm looking for text or like a phrase or a sentence. If I'm working with an illustrated book, I might start by cutting out the illustration.
Okay.
So with the Alice in Wonderland, I cut out Alice and she lifted out of the page, and then I create the scene around her. So I have an image in my mind.
Amazing, isn't it? And it takes you a lot of time. How much time do you invest in these art?
So I usually have more than one piece on the go at the same time. So it's difficult to know exactly how long, but they can take anything from 6 weeks to 12 weeks.
Wow. And what about the people? What do they? I think it's obvious. What do people say about your work?
So they say that it's a visual representation of what it's like to read a book, which is quite difficult to put into words as it's so subjective.
Yeah, but then you feel it's mission accomplished. That's what you do as well. And is it a trend in London, or did you start the trend, the art book?
It's not. I don't think it's such a trend in London. I mean, when I started, there wasn't a term called book sculpture, and there is now. There are exhibitions and artists who call themselves book artists, book sculpture.
It's amazing. Do you have more projects planned for the future?
I'm working on an exhibition at the moment, but it's early days, so I don't have a theme, but it's going to be more book sculptures. And the V&A Museum in London have acquisitioned a piece of mine.
Wow,
so that's
congratulations.
For their National Art Library.
Wow, that's great. And people can also, besides reading, watching your art, have that information on your website.
Yes, and
Su
I do
Blackwell.
have some catalogues if people want to come up to me at the end and
That's
with
great.
some images of my work that I'm giving away.
Okay, so you'll join people in the upper room. You're almost
Yes.
finishing, so great. SuBlackwell.co.uk.
Yes, correct.
Okay, Google it. Congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks.